more antique shops, which I have nothing against antique shops. I like antiques. But the point is what's happened is we're supporting all the big name brand companies and we're forgetting about the little shops in our towns. But on the other hand, when I was in Vicksburg and when I was down in Cocoa Beach in this old town, they've rallied around their small towns. They've tried to find what's important about their town, and they're exploring those things. They're bringing the best out of their communities, and they're advertising it, so people are starting to flock back to these communities. We went to the Coca-Cola museum and down there. But I got a picture that Jeff's going to pop up for me. Just show me the first one, Jeff. Well, that one's a great-looking picture of me, but that's just the one I took down in, where was I? In Texas, but just talking about the architecture there. But go to the next one. This one's kind of interesting, all right? But do you have any idea what that is, Reed? I don't know if you can see it.
It's a baby bath.
No. This is in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and this was the pharmacy, the drugstore. But in there, they had cannonballs. I don't know if you can tell along the top right, but there's rifles from the Confederacy, and they had reproduction bullets and bombs, and they had pictures of their fallen and pictures of their famous whatever. I mean, this place ooze Vicksburg. And so I just encourage people in our own small towns, rally around our history, bring back some of the good stuff. Don't just let it slip through your fingers. Somebody grab it. This would be a great project for the seniors in our communities to kind of rebuild some of the old history. That's all I got to talk about today.
Okay, well, I say I'll make two notes here.
Okay.
Of the Civil War deaths, half of them were sepsis and infections.
Right.
And there was a 20% were, believe it or not, they were gonorrhea.
Oh, yeah. You get that from the drinking water they tell
Yeah,
me.
right. So at any rate, the Civil War is a horrible nightmare, and I must say, putting up the guns and cannonballs doesn't hurt anyway. All right, thank you, John, and welcome back. Glad to have you back.
Always be back.
You're not going to run away right away, I hope?
Nope.
Good enough. We have a guest here, Lori Cornell, and she's probably wondering if she ever was going to get on. She will be on in a moment, and she's extremely photogenic, so get a load of her. Here we go. This is Lori Cornell. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the show today.
Well, it's our privilege, and thank you for giving up your Saturday morning to come over here and expose yourself to the phone calls that will come in for sure, I'm sure. Now, your role is you're the minority leader, meaning that you don't have any authority or power or anything, really. But the majority leader.
That may be an accurate way to put it, but we'll certainly do our best.
Yeah, but at least you do represent the people, the other side of the aisle, and can certainly articulate their positions, I'm sure. Where do you come from, Lori? Where'd you hail from?
I'm originally from Dunkirk, and now I proudly represent the north side of Jamestown and have been a resident now in Jamestown for about 12 years.
Yeah, and you have a fairly well-known husband.
I'm married to Chuck Cornell, and we have 4 children, Benjamin, Nathaniel, Zachary, and Nicholas.
Okay, Trey, you have a dog?
No, we don't. That's a sore subject,
gotta have a cat,
Mr.
though.
Powers. So, and my
cat.
children will be watching this.
Yeah, well, you know.
I always tell my colleagues we have enough animals in the house.
No, Powers.
As soon as the boys, they know very well, as soon as they learn how to do their chores without complaining every day, then we will have a pet.
Yeah, well, Leland Powers was a founder of the Powers Funeral Home down right next to you, right near you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was my cousin, and we came from Panama, our gang.
Sure.
As did Bill Parment, your former boss.
I know very well from our conversations over the years. You are related to everyone in Chautauqua County, Mr.
That's right.
Powers.
That's right,
Absolutely.
because
I got it.
We've been here since the turn of the century, 17 to 1800.
Wow.
And we were a large Irish family, and everybody in an Irish family in those days had 12 children, including my grandfather's family.
Wow.
And we've got a picture of my grandfather and his 11 siblings and his mother and father in front of a mansion, which is still there, just past the school. The school was my great-grandfather, Joseph Powers' horse farm. The Irish Powerses were actually related to the gypsies, and they always dealt in horses, the used car salesmen of their time. And he had a horse ranch there, and they took it over eventually and put the school there, and they kept his old house, which was falling down. And a couple of people who were who were great. One was a shop teacher, and the other one was a home ec teacher. And they bought the house at auction for nothing and renovated. It's gorgeous. just gorgeous. What a beautiful job. And you know our county executive was born there.
No, I didn't realize that.
His dad
Oh my
had
gosh.
it for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
Neat story. What a history.
yeah, and well, there's even more history because in the horse farm, one of his grandchildren, Cap Powers' kid, was Vinny. And Vinny was a very small kid, and he loved to ride the horses. When it was over, Vinny was top world winner jockey 3 times in a row. At 17, he was a top jockey running in the United States. And Vincent Powers is legendary. He won every race. He won the, let's see, on Wintergreen, he won the Kentucky Derby back in 1909 and so forth. He placed and everything, this guy. And he came from that little farm where the school is in Panama. Right.
Wow. Oh, how interesting. Well, all I can claim is I'm from the Polish clan of, very proudly, of Dunkirk. So I'm a Maroka from home, as they say.
Okay, great. Yeah, like we have a wonderful Greek person who comes on all the time. She runs the Office for the Aging.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, she has the same background, she tells me, believe it or not.
Marianne is a good friend, and
Yeah.
she's doing an excellent job as director of OFA.
Well, she says she's Polish-Italian.
Polish Italian? I didn't realize
She
that.
keeps telling me that. I know she's Greek, though. She makes wonderful Slovakia, I might add. Okay, enough for that. So anyway, here you are. You found yourself in the legislature, and boom, just like that, your first term, essentially, you're the minority leader. That tells you nobody wanted it. It's it's apparently the most unenviable position, because if the lowest person on the totem pole gets it, tell me about it anyway. How'd that all happen? Tell me what happened.
I guess that's one way to look at it, Mr. Powers. This is my second term serving in the county legislature. In my first term, I was the assistant minority leader. But I have had a long history, I don't know, almost 15 years serving in government at various levels, from the local to the state to the federal levels of government. And public service has just always been a passion of mine. And you know, my intention is always to work as hard as I can on behalf of the people that I serve and that together we serve in Chautauqua County. So with that, we are working very hard on both sides of the aisle, minority and majority in the county legislature right now, to just provide the critical services that our residents deserve at the lowest possible cost to taxpayers.
Well, it turns out that you don't seem to have the issues that the Congress has. You work together pretty much. Jay Gould says he's working with everybody. He's setting up fairly well-balanced committees to look into certain things. And you do have a bunch of responsibilities. Now, what's your foremost responsibility as the minority leader? What do you have to do?
Sure. Well, I think the leadership of the legislature is most responsible as sort of coordinating the interests of all of the legislative members to best serve their constituents and to best serve the entire county as a whole. So bottom line is, I work very closely with Majority Leader Larry Barmore and our assistant leadership. On the Democratic side, we welcomed an incoming, a freshman legislator, Bob Whitney, as the assistant minority leader, and he is thus far just doing an excellent job. And on the Republican side, the assistant majority leader is a gentleman, Dave Himmeline, a very well-respected legislator as well. And together the four of us try to formulate policy in Chautauqua County. And with now the leadership of Chairman Gould, who's also doing a fine job, we work with membership to try to cooperate as best we can, and to provide the type of services and quality of life that our residents deserve. County government is challenging. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of progress that is yet to be made, and we're just moving forward and trying to be as active as legislators that we can be. Okay.
One of the items I have on my agenda here is the county home. The county home is a great, let's put it this way, it's an issue which brings on a lot of, generates quite a bit of heat all around. I've had it from both sides. We can't afford it, it's costing us a bunch, and so forth. And then I had it from the other side, it doesn't really cost that much money, and we certainly can afford it in taking care of our poor and our destitute seniors that really do need a place. And the biggest problem with finding a place when you're a destitute senior and you need nursing care is there is no place available, because A long time ago, the state, in their wisdom, passed a law: you cannot build any new beds in nursing homes. And that's in effect today. They did a multi-million-dollar renovation over at Chautauqua at the county home. Did not add one bed, though, because that's against the law. And so the welfare department, or the Department of Social Services, actually covers a lot of people in these nursing homes that do manage to get in. If they go in under Medicaid, Medicare doesn't pay for it, excepting for a short term. And Medicaid is, incidentally, the part of the Congress's wonderful new budget is to cut back 11% on Medicaid payments to nursing homes, so to make it even more difficult. Well, since they are not getting, they're getting about half what they get from private pay under Medicaid. They just didn't have any Medicaid. They said, we don't have any room for Medicaid. Well, the state said, well, you've got to. You have to have so many Medicaid beds. And I don't remember what the percentage allotment was. It was pretty darn small. But they must be dedicated to Medicaid. And so every nursing home has a certain number. But since they have you can't get into one without, until someone dies. Somebody's going to croak before there's room in a Medicaid bed. That's simple, because they're not going to leave any other way. You can't wheel them out in the front lawn and say, keep in touch, Mrs. Jones. you got to have a plan, you know, and there's no plan for somebody who's basically totally incapacitated in a nursing home bed. All right, so there's a problem. However, the county home is exceptional in one way. 80% of their beds are Medicaid beds, which means that if you are on Medicaid, you need help, you are destitute, you can get into there with probably a minimal wait of maybe 3 or 4 months. Some of them, there's a 2-year wait to get into a regular nursing home. If you sell it, boom, bye-bye, Medicaid beds, and it's going to be the same old hassle anywhere else. Comment?
Sure. Well, there's a lot there, Mr. Powers, and I think the bottom line, and you had opened up the show talking about COLA at the federal level and some war issues at the federal level, and in reference to some of the state problems we have in Medicaid distribution and unfunded burdens on the county by the state. And I think one of the challenges as county legislators is to really accept responsibility for what we can control. And although dealing with the COLA and dealing with the war in Afghanistan is far above my pay grade, there are very important things that we can be doing as local legislators here in Chautauqua County.
We'll talk about that in a second.
One of them is the county home.
Okay, we'll pursue the county home in a moment.
Sure.
We do have 2 callers. You want to take a call?
Sure.
Oh, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning. I have a question for your guest today.
Hello.
You see that there's a law that says you can't expand the county home. Why isn't the county legislature pursuing overturning the law, getting a home rule law or something like that?
Well, as I was starting to say before your call, that what Mr. Powers is referring to is...
You can call me Reed, dear.
Reed is referring to a state provision that limits the number of beds that can be provided in a given community. And absolutely, I think, as county legislators, we need to be urging our state legislators who represent us very well. We have State Senator Kathy Young and now Assemblyman Andy Goodell to do whatever they can to put Chautauqua County into the best position possible here locally. But that's their job as state legislators. Our job now as county legislators is to conduct county business. And I started to say one of the things that we can do in Chautauqua County and that we, I think, absolutely need to get done in this county legislative term is to protect and to save the county home. There's been a push by this administration, by County Executive Edwards, to sell the county home. The bottom line for me is we need to be doing everything possible to make the home more financially viable and to protect the county home for the long term for the end-of-life care that it provides for the residents that live there.
Yeah, question, you did mention that our county executive, Greg, is pushing very hard for it. Spearheading, apparently. Why is he so interested personally in selling the county home?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can only speak.
I've heard that from other people.
Sure, sure. And I can only speak, you know, on behalf of myself as an individual legislator, and you know, I think to a large extent for members of my caucus, and that we